What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got more of those lovely Digimon that are coming around in BT7 that we need to have a little bit of a chat about. So why don't we go and have a little bit of a look at a bit of a new evolution line. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, there was a book that was released in Japan last Friday, and that book basically was just a celebration of the first anniversary of the game, and the book basically just has a picture of all the cards released in the first year, and does come with those exclusive promo cards I showed you the other day. Yeah, it's a really cool book. I've imported it because I'm a nerd. But as well as having all the cool stuff I've already mentioned, one of the things it actually has in there are reveals of 3 new cards which are all thematically appropriate, and given that I've been flicking through this book for the past couple of days, this seems like a pretty nice time to go ahead and talk about these new cards. So let's start off with a lovely new level 3 Digimon. It's Doramon. Translations from Ensan Gaming and DigimonCard.dev, which is where our translated proxies come from. So Doramon then, we've got a free cost to play normally, 0 cost to Digivolve, 1000 power. That makes the power extremely low and means we're going to be expecting some kind of good skill here. 302 is our average level 3, so when you bring the power down a little bit, we expect something very, very cool indeed. What have we got? Well, when you play it, you reveal 3 cards on the top of your deck, and you add 1 Digimon with X antibody in its type, and 1 Kota Demoto card from among them to your hand. We'll get to Kota in a minute. And then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. If this works, and you're only looking at the top 3 cards of your deck, and it's not always going to work, but if this works, you're literally talking about draw 2. Well, I cannot be the only one that thinks this is pretty gosh darned awesome. Now, for anyone that's wondering, there are 2 X antibody cards we have had released in the game so far. We've got Omnimon X Antibody. That was the level 7 that's just been released in BT5, and Alphamon, the level 6, which is coming around in BT6. Obviously, that's out in Japan. It's not out over here yet. So basically, there aren't many options, except obviously there are a bunch of new ones coming in this particular set. That's kind of the point. That's why we have new things like this. So this is really good, and quite frankly, if you're playing this kind of deck, you need to be playing this card. It is absolutely brilliant. It is clearly a phenomenal card. It's giving you extra draw. There are very few things I can say about this without going over the top. It is just an essential card. It really is as simple as that. If you're playing this deck, it is an essential card. But it's also got an inheritable skill as well, just in case that wasn't good enough. And apparently, on your turn, once per turn, when you place a card under this Digimon as a Digivolution card, you gain a memory. Now, clearly that sounds pretty good. Gaining memory is good and all of that. But clearly it's going to take a little bit of extra explanation, given that as it stands at the moment, there is literally no mechanism that we've seen that will be placing cards under here. That doesn't make a huge amount of sense, but like I've said, there are probably other ways to do so. So moving over then straight up to level 6, we've skipped all the other evolution parts. We've got a Dorugoramon, and we've got 11 cost to play normally, 3 cost to Digivolve, 11,000 power. It is very literally exactly what we would generally expect, so nothing special yet. But on your turn, this Digimon gets plus 1000 power for every Digivolution card it has with X antibody in its type. For anyone that's wondering, yes, the Doramon we just looked at absolutely does have X antibody in its type. So that's really good. But we don't have anything else. Like I said, I gave you a complete list of the X antibody cards a little while ago, and I told you we had a level 6 and a level 7, and that's literally it. So none of them are going in the evolution sources here. So presumably, and again, we can't say for certain, not until all the cards have been revealed, but presumably you can have a level 3, 4, and 5 at least, and that will put you up to a 14,000 power Digimon, and 14,000 power is even bigger and badder than things like Nidogmon, and Nidogmon at 13,000 power is especially beefy as a level 6. If there is a level 2 that is X antibody, that would actually put you up to 15,000 power. And 15,000 power, you're talking stuff like Omnimon. You are talking literally as powerful as any Digimon is, without having some way to boost power, without modifying it in any way. So that's clearly great. It'll remain to be seen for the moment whether we can have a level 2 with X antibody. As it stands at the moment, all we've got is Doramon, which makes you 12,000, which is still a pretty big deal, because if 11,000 power is the average for a level 6, then going from 11 to 12 puts you from average, you can take them out but you'll go down with them, to above average, you can take them out while surviving. It's a big deal, but I rather suspect there will be more in the future. Oh yeah, but when attacking once per turn, you may place one Digimon card with X antibody in its type from your hand under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card, and if you do, delete up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost less than or equal to the number of Digivolution cards under this card. Okay. So that takes a little bit of unpacking. Now, first of all here, this means you're no longer constrained to having 3 or 4 Digivolution cards, depending on whether you use an egg or not. You can now have, in theory, like 49. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could. So you can use this in combination with that first permanent skill to get just stupid powerful, like proper job stupid over the top powerful. But also, you're going to get inheritable skills. And you're going to be able to get more of these, and that is a very, very good thing. Now, you delete up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost less than or equal to the number of Digivolution cards under this card. Now, if you've gone up from an egg, and to be clear, the translation we've got, and this seems to be the case, it is not play cost equal to or less than the number of Digivolution cards with X antibody, it is just Digivolution cards generally. So if you've gone from an egg all the way up, you're going to have 4 Digivolution cards. You use this skill, you'll have a 5th Digivolution card, and you get to delete 2 Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less. And that's pretty big, because that is above rookies. That is getting yourselves into level 4s and cheap level 5 territory here. That is clearly a wonderful, wonderful thing. But you can keep going. And as you keep using this skill and keep putting cards under, you can keep getting more and more powerful Digimon. And bearing in mind you are getting rid of 2 Digimon when you do this, you are not getting rid of 1. And frankly, this is absolutely, brilliantly, awesomely, wonderfully great. I'm a big fan of this skill, as you might be able to tell. I really want to see what the level 4 and 5 in this evolution line do. That is going to give us a lot more information. But the fact of the matter is, Doramon's got great search and gains you memory. Bearing in mind, when you place a card under this Digimon, is going to be a skill that you have on Dorugoramon, which means that when you attack, not only do you get an extra evolution card, not only do you get to delete 2 of your opponent's Digimon, but you also get to gain a memory. That's a bit dumb good. And just in case that wasn't good enough, we've also got Kota Doamoto, apologies for the pronunciation, a 4-cost to play Tamer, which is about as heavy as it gets, and the security says you play it without paying its cost, which we see on basically every one of these, every Tamer. And it's got that skill that at the start of your turn, if you got 2 memory or less, you set your memory to 3. Again, all very standard. But when you play, you may reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon card with X antibody in its type among them to your hand. And place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. And I'm kind of not loving this. Like, this is 1 more to play than Doramon, and sure, you get to look at an extra card, but you're only getting 1 card, whereas Doramon can get you 2. Although one of them is Kota, so make of that what you will. And then, after you've used the play skill, it's basically just putting you up to 3 memory. Having said that, it draws you a card and then puts you up to 3 memory at the start of your turn. That ain't bad, but it doesn't strike me as one of those real top-level Tamers we've seen so far. Now, if it comes out as a security card, then everything changes. Because if this comes out as a security card, it means that you can play this for free and then essentially draw a card, and then you'll get the extra memory at the start of every turn. And at that stage, my thoughts on this get very, very different and far more positive, frankly, ladies and gentlemen. For now, I think it's a cool little bonus, but I do think that Doramon and Dorugoramon here are the real stars. And I think this whole line is worth 5 Wassies. I really like this. I think this is the kind of thing, and again, we don't have full information. We cannot give a full rundown yet. We need to see what the level 4s and 5s do, and I think that's going to really tell us how good this is going to be. But just straight off the bat, we're essentially getting free deletion on Digimon becoming super powerful, and we've got extra consistency. I think that's pretty awesome, personally. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comments section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wassie Plays.